Yep, it's time to unpack this. So, a lot has been going on in the world just in the past month or so. We went into the 2024 elections, and I'm telling you, things are just popping off, good and bad. And you're just seeing there's so much energy and so much new things coming about, and at least in my personal life, and I'm also seeing it in the world. If you guys don't know, uh, being and living around New York City has been one of the most realist experiences. Like, if you guys really want a real world experience in your if you guys really want a real life experience in your 20s, I really recommend you move to a major city just so that you can understand what it's like to really experience. If you guys really want to experience life and jam-packed things and action, just move to a major city like New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Miami. Just find a major city and just move to it if you want to experience that in your 20s and build and grind. I always recommend it. But it's living in living and maintaining yourself in a city like this. It's you definitely have to do your self-care in terms of that. But yeah, in the state of the world today, it's just so much has been going on in recent times. We're getting a new same president, and now we're seeing a lot of things change in terms of overall things. So it's kind of with this world, where do you stand as where do your desires stand in what you want to accomplish, in this lifetime? These are really existential questions that might send people into a tailspin, but it's kind of true. And in this age of social media and people really not having a sense of direction, people are quite literally aimlessly scrolling on social media. And even the platform I'm using now, it's we're all watching the videos for different reasons. With that being said, it's kind of good high quality goals that align with you and what you really wanted to achieve in. A lot of my viewers are female, they're between the ages of 25 and 32, 34, which is cool. But it's us as women, and us as for the small men who amount of men who are watching. You're young. We are literally at the supposed to be the peak of our life in terms of physical health, mental health, fitness, all of these things. So taking the time now in your 20s and 30s to say, forget the state of the world. You are the one who can hopefully change the world one day. It's we just have to align ourselves as Gen Z and as millennials and as young people to really say, hey, this is what I would like to see in 20 years. And you never know really how far. So with that, with the doom scrolling aspect of social media and people constantly and chronically being online and locked into their own individual algorithms, you're seeing so much individuality, whereas though people don't really know how to necessarily cultivate a sense of community. It doesn't matter if you're in the largest city in the planet. It doesn't matter if you're in a small town in West Bubble F, USA. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have similar results if you are leading forward with a sense of just individuality, cutting everybody out exclusively, and just being in your own bubble. That's the most, I won't say dangerous place to be, but it's a place that 2020 really put into motion for a lot of people, of that feeling of isolation. And we've come out of isolation, especially in 2022, but going into 2025, there's still people who are experiencing the things that have happened 5 years ago. So it's just about especially for Gen Z, you missed out on so much crucial time of your early 20s, and now we're going into this state where as though Gen Z isn't necessarily in control of things in terms of the economy and stuff, even though we're the largest demographic. It's kind of like being a teenager in a grown-up world, basically. Like Gen Z has this like extended teenager type vibe, whereas though we're supposed to be like the young trendy generation, doesn't really want to work apparently, and then I don't know. Anyways, with that being said, the state of the world has just been like, crisis after crisis, maneuvering things, especially as a Gen Z and as a Generation X. And it is to a point where, so if you are just like seeing things from like one perspective, it can be like overwhelming. And so I really recommend all of you to, do your yoga. I know that's like the most basic thing, but like do your yoga, do your meditation, drink your herbs, and also like, watch the news, but don't let everything that's happening outside of your world necessarily affect you. Really focus in on building community if that is a point for you. For me personally, I've been like building so much in the wellness community here in New York. That's like my thing. I love yoga, I love drinking tea, I like being around people who like those things, and that's really what aligns with me basically. And that also like moves me into the next topic of like intentionality and why being intentional in 2024, 2025 is going to be so important. This time that we're alive, it's a great time to be alive because, we're going to be going into a wealth transfer. That's a lot of like, finance stuff with that. But we're in a time where as though people are literally being made into millionaires overnight. There are people who are, changing their life seemingly overnight. And so with that being said, it's like you have to keep yourself in a, more positive outlook in terms of the goals that you wish to setting, good. You never really know how far what you put out into the world in terms of, talking to people, the good that you do, and how you treat yourself, how that will come back to you multiplied if you just keep going with whatever it is. And that kind of like loops back into having hobbies. For me, my hobbies are content creation, also running my own business. I guess you can't even call it a hobby, but my interests are running my own business, social media, which has like been a big game changer for me this year in terms of being invited to events and to be, building out my career a little bit as a social media marketer and influencer, and really aligning myself with a sense of community, because community in the next few years is going to be currency, really. Look at people who have these big cult followings who, are on social media, but also, if you ask them to meet up with you in the middle of Midtown Manhattan, like 50 million people are going to show up. What I'm saying is community is going to be the new form of currency. If you have, people behind you who really appreciate you, really want the best for you, then, you're definitely going to receive all of the seeds that you are wishing to sow for yourself. And I hope that all of you all watching this really tap into maneuvering around the fluff of the state of the world in terms of the economy and all of these things. Start your YouTube channel, get aligned with that community, and I hope that it finds you. And yeah, that's basically it that I have for this video. I don't really know where I'm definitely going with this channel. I definitely want to focus on, my interests, which are herbalism, and also business, and also marketing and social media marketing. So we'll see how that comes out in the type of videos that I'm making here on this channel. But with that being said, I just hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and also continue to watch me on my journey as I'm figuring out this YouTube thing. All right, bye guys.